What's up guys, welcome back to Gladiator Stripe. Today we have a very exciting racket on our playtest. This is the Head Speed Legend MP. Head Speed MP Legend, whatever it is. It's the second year that Head is releasing a special version of the Head Speed lineup in the name of Novak Djokovic, and I'm starting to get a little scared with this because you know, I'm not getting really good vibes. I got a little scared when they released the Legend version last year, and I actually went to the presentation of the racket all the way to Monte Carlo, Monaco, to the 1000 Rolex Masters that was happening there to see the racket and go to the actual presentation, and now they're doing it again. I hope it's not a sign that Novak is retiring. I don't think it is, but hey, this is the Speed MP version. I'm definitely going to do the Speed Pro further on in the future, but right now, here's what happened when I received this racket in my mail. I thought, okay, Head is sending me a Legend version of the new Head Speed MP. What is it going to be? Probably the same exact racket as last year, but slightly repainted, and honestly, like, just at a first glance, you won't even really notice the differences between the previous Legend and this Legend. But in reality, this is actually a very different beast from last year. But yeah, let's go ahead and head out to the courts, but before we do that, check out the grades.
So I pray, don't you dare take it away. Can't control what I say. Lost my mind cause your frame. Hey girl, what's your name? Lit me up just like a flame. Body in motion, I feel the commotion. Beyond you like lotion, I'm honest and broken. I flow like the ocean, I feel you were chosen. To fix me, I'm broken, my heart that you stolen. Hey, stay with me, play with me, lay with me. Hate to see when you leave, chemistry feels like it's destiny. I just want you laying next to me, and I really don't want you to ever leave. On your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Touching on your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you.
Alright lads, this is the Head Speed MP Legend, and let me start by mentioning the most outstanding feature of this racket, and it has to be the looks. I mean, this all black glossy finish with these little golden accents just puts it up there with some of the best looking rackets on the market in the history, together with the second to last generation of the Wilson Pro stuff, you know, with this exposed forged carbon fiber. And this is kind of related to the cars industry, and considering that I'm also a petrol head, this just hits me right in the heart. But I guess let's stop talking about the looks and start with the playtest. As I said, when I first found out that I was going to receive this racket, I thought, okay, it's Head we're talking about. I'm not going to see any new technology implemented or any crazy updates. It's probably just going to be a paint job update. But then I found out about the high-bore technology. I said, hi, what? But turns out that high-bore is actually a mix of carbon and boron fibers mixed together, and that technology is actually used in like really high performance racing as well as space engineering, and it's also used in the shaft of this Head Speed MP Legend. I heard that and said, okay, it still could be marketing and I might not feel any change whatsoever, but I was very wrong. It is still the Speed MP that we're all used to, but whatever Head did to it has really improved its feel, its stability, and its spin, and it should have technically also improved power, because high bore is a stiffening material that's supposed to stiffen the racket in certain areas, improving the power. But I didn't really notice that much difference between this racket and the previous one in terms of power or stiffness, which is kind of weird, but that's just the way I felt. Let's talk about the feel and stability improvement, because I feel like those are the aspects of the racket that have improved the most in this generation. But the problem with feel is that it's a rather subjective thing to discuss, talk about, or judge, because feel is subjective. So let's first talk about the facts. And the fact is that this racket has become way more stable. As I always like to say, stability brings confidence, and confidence is everything in tennis. So conclusion, just go and buy this racket. End of the review. Okay, fine, let's continue. The stability has definitely improved, especially comparing to the previous generation, but it doesn't mean that it's at a level where I would recommend it to people who are searching for a control-oriented and feel-oriented racket that is very stable and is good for flat hitters. No, the Speed MP is still not the best racket if your tennis is rather flat, but it is definitely an improvement from the last year's MP. I could compare the improvement in stability to the Wilson Ultra V5, because it made a pretty big jump from the V4 in terms of stability, and I'm really liking that. And here, same thing, a big jump from the 2024 version, and I am really liking that. So well done, Head. Now into the less subjective aspect of the racket, which is the feel. And in my opinion, the feel has most certainly improved. It has become more crisp and more transmitting of what's happening on the string pad. In fact, the feel has become even more unique than it used to be with the Exotic, because back in the day when the Exotic just launched, I mentioned that they're kind of following the path that Yonex is doing, where you can actually differentiate the racket with your eyes closed from any other racket on the market just based on the feel of the impact. And with the implementation of high bore, that feeling has become even more unique and even more different from other rackets on the market. I don't know if that's going to be the case with the implementation of high bore in other rackets in the Heads lineup, but this is definitely a standout for me. The feel that you get on impact is kind of like, you know, that sound and that feeling, I guess, that the Spider-Man web makes when he shoots it out of his hand. That's kind of the feeling you get on impact, and me being a Spider-Man fan, I'm really liking it. And it's actually very different and hard to describe, but I guess there's only one way for you to find out, and that's to try and test the racket yourself. But I do have to say that I really like the new feel of the Speed MP. And by the way, Glads, if you feel the urge to get this racket simply based on the looks of it, like always, the link to get it is going to be down in the description below, together with our exclusive discount code that will save you some cash, and that really helps the channel. So I'd appreciate if you use that link and that discount code, because it's a win-win situation. And yeah, I mean, and this thing looks pretty good. But yeah. Oh, and while we're at it, maybe it's a little bit too much to ask and I'm pushing it a little bit, but if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit that like button and maybe even subscribe to not miss any of the future uploads. But yeah, now let's talk about shot-by-shot analysis, and let's start with the ground strokes. And just like with literally every other head speed MP, the shot that I like the most with this racket is of course the forehand. The improved stability that comes with the high bore really helped in situations where I wanted to attack, switch down the line and go aggressive, and the improved spin really helped when I was trying to defend, play deep with a lot of topspin, or try to open angle and go to the net. That stability though, as I said, wasn't enough to impress me on the backhand side, where I still lacked a little bit of that penetration on the slightly flatter shots where I try to switch down the line, maybe go to the net with a backhand. But the spin and the power really helps when trying to defend with the backhand or open angles and go to the net. So it's kind of like a situation where you have to sacrifice here but win here, and it's just a matter of personal preference and playing styles of what you value more, flat hitting, topspin, and you just have to choose. At the net, I expected it to be slightly less maneuverable than the predecessor, and considering that, you know, the swing weight isn't exactly the lowest, but I really didn't notice any difficulty or friction when trying to prepare the swing, and all of the volleys were going exactly where I wanted them. And I mean, the sweet spot is pretty big, and the comfort on impact was really soothing and nice. So I don't know, maybe the racket is good, or maybe I'm just a machine and I can swing any racket of any swing weight and without noticing. That's also an option. The Speed MP has never been a racket that has really impressed me in terms of the serve, because it's not as stable as I would like it to be, and I really appreciate a good flat fast serve down the tee. But in reality, any racket that is not control and feel oriented has impressed me in that sense, because I want that stability and penetration on impact. But I know a lot of players who play with this racket and are managing to serve absolute nuclear bombs down the tee without any problem, so it might just be a me problem. And if you're coming from a power and spin oriented racket, this won't be a problem for you whatsoever, and you might even appreciate the added stability and the added spin that comes from the high bore. Overall, this is a great and very versatile racket that covers pretty much all of the court, whether you like to rush to the net and play aggressive like a bull, or you like to grind in the baseline, tiring your opponent and exhausting them with your physique and unbearable topspin. This is definitely a racket you should consider to playtest at least. And while you are checking out the grades of this Headspeed MP Legend, let me admire this paint job just one more time. Alright guys, enough. You can feel free to pause if you didn't have enough time to check out the grades, but I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. Like always, my name is Grisha, you're watching Gladiators Tribe, and I will see you, Glad, in the next one. Bye-bye.